Hi, welcome to Hail Rock Me Talks, and today joining me is Jordan Nelson from Nelson Track Solutions, a company formed 3 years ago with a local entrepreneur from Ayrshire who's great aspirations for the future of his business and the local communities. Jordan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me a bit about yourself, Jordan, and your past and where you come from.
Well, I come from a wee village called Comores, it's about 5 minutes from here. My family's all been business orientated with construction companies, so I've always been in that kind of, just maybe a young kid, like for example my gran, she always had paper everywhere, it was all the invoice and she used to do typewriting for years ago, so I've always been kind of in business as such, just listening subconsciously to mum and dad. They've got roofing companies, so I've just always been about business, and went to Comores primary school, went to secondary, then I went to Comores College, and I studied science at college. I really liked it. I always wanted to, well, I wanted to be a footballer, but that didn't happen unfortunately, and then I wanted to be a GP, so I went to Comores College, then to Glasgow Uni, and then within 2 years of uni, I was actually in Saturday Nights and Railway, and I really liked it, and I thought, do you know what, that could maybe be my passion, so I ended up 2 years into uni, I dropped out, which I don't recommend everybody do that, it's a risky deal, but started my railway company and that was it.
So obviously, a bit like myself, my dad was a bricklayer to trade, worked his way up in business and went into white collar. So I came from a very forward-thinking family, very hard-working family, hard-working ethics. Would you say that's what's the grounding that's made you the person that you are?
Definitely, like your environment, essentially. Like my mum and dad they were hard grafters and that. My mum still is. She's a roofer. She's the only woman roofer in Scotland. So I don't know if that's changing now, but for the past good 20 years I've known her do it. I've never knew any other women doing that. So like just for that, that's an inspiration to me. Like I'm dead close to my mum, so me and mum have got a really good relationship, and she's taught me a lot of business acumen, stuff like that, and come from my grandfather too. He brought her into the industry and she's learned there, and just my dad's been good to me too. Like there's been times like in business, like maybe it's into the hard times we've gone to, so for example like cash flow issues, that's something that I'd experienced dead quickly. So when I started the business, like I'd spent all the money getting the business set up with all the health and safety policies, everything, and it costs a lot of money to do that, because the railway like is very stringent because you're dealing with the general public, so you've got to spend a lot of money in your health and safety policy procedures. So all my money almost was disappeared for that. So what happened was I needed money to pay guys' wages, so I was like, what am I going to do here? My mum said to me, look, I'll remortgage the house. And that's a big thing for, when I think back now, like that's crazy, like for her to believe in me to do that. So luckily, luckily, it was a terrible thing, but the bounce back loans came out. So I got a 25k loan to start with, that'll pay the guy's wages, but that was just by pure chance. My mum was going to remortgage her house, thankfully, she never had to do that, but cash flow issues were a big thing to start with, try to fund the business. I'm the only director, I don't have any other loans or anything like that, so just purely funded in the business bounce back.
Yeah. No, I feel your pain there, because when my dad started our business up in 1988, it was the exact same, and I worked in the financial sector in London, and I was the director in his company, and I remember we had to put houses up as security,
Right.
for a £30,000 overdraft, personal guarantees, and what I did was work all my life to get all that back, and we did that many years ago, and I don't know about you, but I think you've got to put in to a business to get back out the roads.
Definitely.
And I see a lot of entrepreneurial folk out there, and we invest in companies, but they want everything for free, and they don't want to put the risk in.
Yep.
But you're a man who takes that risk, and it's a challenging industry that you're in. Tell me some of the stories. What's one of the biggest challenges maybe in the railway industry for you?
The railway industry is trying to get the staff. So we deal with safety critical staff mostly, and you can't just bring somebody off the street into a job like that. They've got to be trained over a number of years. So definitely the issues is trying to find the staff, and reliability is a big part. And I don't want to be negative, but it seems like a lot of people don't almost want to work now. Like there's just trying to get the staff's just a nightmare. We broke into the English market recently, and down there the inflation, the rates are just through the roof, and almost you're a busy fool trying to fill the shifts because you're not making your margins on it, because the rates down there are crazy, and the companies don't want to pay any more money to like the agencies or recruitment companies. So that's been difficult, and I'd say like one of the biggest difficulties in the railway is the actual terms of the works. It's a lot of weekend works, that's when the trains are off. but there's not a lot of midweek works, which is difficult. So the contractor, the guys that we bring in, are maybe only getting Saturday, Sunday night potentially, and then some midweek works, but it's not like a guarantee of like 6 months. If you're in a building site, say, well, it could be a year-long project or 2 years. With the railway, it's a lot of kind of short-term contracts, a Saturday night, stuff like that. So that's been difficult with the way the industry is. I've been having a big think about how can we fix that, and it's something that's about to launch as Nelson Development Academy. So there's a lot of weekend works, but there's not enough staff. So we supply safety critical, but we also do like, it's called track maintenance work, so we build the railway tracks and stuff like that, whereas you don't need as many years experience to start. Like, you come straight off the street essentially. So when I was at university, I was doing Chinese, Indian delivery driving for all these different kind of wee companies, and like, I wasn't making a lot of money. But then when I found the railway, I was getting triple the amount of money on a Saturday night as I would a Friday night doing a delivery. So I thought, this is great, and I really enjoyed it as well. So I want to give back by bringing college students or the University of Glasgow where I studied. I'd love to give them the chance to come and work in the railway, because it is a good industry if you get the right contacts.
Yeah.
If you get the right contacts, and you can do well.
So you came to Hale, and we love you being here.
Yeah.
You're one of our better known characters in the Halo Rockwood trading floor, and you bring a lot of qualities to the Halo. Why did you choose Halo?
So the sustainability factor of building, like, we help build overhead lines. So by 2035 there's a net zero policy. When Alex Hines was in, we were talking about that. They need all main passenger routes of Scotland have to be electrified. It has to be done, but there's not enough people in the industry, I think, to meet that target. So we need to do stuff. So I think coming to this building, the sustainability about the overhead, all the electric travel and stuff, this is perfect for us. It ties in with our clients, what we're trying to achieve. Greener travel, stuff like that. Like, my flat's across the road, I walk to work rather than drive now. So I try it, just stuff like that. But the other big thing is the networking. I mean, the events have been unbelievable. Like, for example, Kate Rubin, the astronaut, that is unbelievable. That was class. And meeting Alexander, who went to the same university as I did, and he's at the Rice Institute. So meeting people like that has been great. I love that. I like the networking side of it, and we've been able to put on events here as well. Like, we've got a great space over there that people can rent. Part of our package, we obviously get it for free, but the thing is, we put on mental health awareness days. It was really good and stuff like that. We're trying to, I like the collaboration side of this. This is an open room rather than you're concealed in a wee office. That's what I've previously had, kind of thing, but you're not getting a chance to network and meet new people. So the networking is a big factor in coming here as well.
No, and that's a lot of the feedback that we get. You know, it's the fact that you can collaborate. And when I set this up, and this is a brand new brand that we set up to basically bring something to Ayrshire that Ayrshire didn't have, and we want to roll that across the whole of Scotland and the UK now. And it's about giving people the opportunity to meet some of these people for the PLCs and
I
around
wouldn't
the
have got a
world,
chance,
and the
potentially,
Israeli governments and the USA governments that normally wouldn't come to Ayrshire. So I'm pleased to hear that it is working. So you've got huge aspirations for the company. Where do you want to be in the next 5 years?
Right now, the company where it is, right, we're a kind of supporting company almost. So we supply tier 1 contractors in the railway. So, for example, your Storey plant, stuff like this. We're supporting these companies with their bigger contracts, but I would like to be a tier 1 supplier. So right now we've got about 50 contractors almost. I mean, it'd be great to get it to 1,000 in the next maybe 5 years or so. So we're growing. Like, we brought in Chris and that into the office and stuff like that. So it's like we're growing, but sometimes like for example, I'll tell you a story. So going back the way, one of our clients lost a contract, which in turn meant we lost a contract, and that was 90% of revenue. That was back April 21. That nearly actually put us out of business. I had a resource manager and some other staff in the office, and I had to pay them off. So that was a hard time for us, and then we had to find a new client base essentially. But we've grew for that year again. We had a really good year, but that was a big learning point for us. That April of 21 when our clients lost that. So it's like I'm trying to spread the risk by finding a lot more clients and relying on one. Do you know what I mean? All your eggs in one basket. So I actually had this conversation recently with a kind of higher up managing director of a railway company, and he said, you want to be aiming for maybe about 4 clients. I says, look, I do agree with that to a certain extent, but also for the experience I've had, you want to diversify it as much as possible.
Exactly.
John Caldwell, who phones for you, who creator of that story he was talking about was Motorola was 90% his work. This is back in the 90s, and he had over 100 staff, and they were turning over $1 billion a year. They hired a new general manager, and they decide to go in a different direction with John. So John overnight lost like 90% of his turnover, exactly like your story. And listen, he said, spread your risk, try and find as many clients as possible, and rather than the one.
Yeah, so a wide debtor book, a wide customer
Yep.
base, and that'll help you
Yep.
sail through.
Mhm.
So you're obviously on our social media, and you're very active in social
Yeah.
media, and we love watching it. So you're talking about there that you want to aspire in the next 5 years, have some major clients.
Yep.
Now's your chance. Who would be your ideal client?
Network Rail, no doubt
Network
about
Rail.
it. Being direct with them, that would be that's the goal. Right now, we support companies that support them. I would like to be that tier one for them.
So I'm going to say to Network Rail, you've seen him here, this man in the next 5 years is going to be on your plants, doing a lot of your fixing, so if you can give him an opportunity, he's here.
Yep.
So we've just been a walk on the Halo Rock Me floor, and it wouldn't be a right Halo Rock Me interview if we didn't ask you, what was your favourite rock tune?
Right, I'd have to say it'd be Baby O'Reilly by The Who. Definitely, I'd go for that.
And finishing up this interview today,
Yep.
the current economic climate's challenging, but we keep going forward because that's what we're all about at Halo.
Yep.
Have you got a message for everybody out there?
Just keep going. Like, there's been times where I've wanted to quit nearly daily, especially at the start, first couple of years, but you just have to keep going. Like, you've got to have that mentality where you've got to keep fighting, or you'll essentially not get what you really want. Like, you'll regret it, definitely, if you don't keep fighting through the battles, because I know there's a lot of companies out there that are struggling, especially due to COVID, but you just have to keep going. That's what I would say.
Jordan, thanks so much for
You're
choosing
welcome.
Halo.
Yeah.
We love you being here. And to anybody that's never held a Nelson Track Solutions, well, you've heard from Jordan himself, a young man who has got great aspirations and who has fought many battles and will continue to win the war, and he will get that contract with Network Rail. Thanks for watching Halo Rock Me.